First of all, I want to thank the Myrtle Beach Bowl and all the committee that put it together. We had a fantastic week here. Our guys really enjoyed their experience, getting a chance to see the beach. Would like to come back when it's a little warmer and get to experience the water a little bit more. But had a fantastic time. Our players really enjoyed it, and then got to finish it off being the champs of this bowl. So proud of our team. Things that they battled throughout the year. Faced a lot of adversity, but that being said, finished really, really strong, and kind of it was just typical of who we are today. You know, gave up a big play on the opening play of the game, but our guys just battled, stayed locked in, and really did a nice job finishing it up.
You mentioned that. Obviously, that's not ideal when the game starts that way, but you know that your guys know not to get too caught up in those moments.
Mm-hmm.
Is that just okay? We're just gonna regroup.
Well, obviously, it's a tough blow there early, but like you said, our guys have faced adversity before. Nobody panicked. Everybody understood what it was, and we got a lot of time left. Obviously, taking the opening drive down and getting points, that was big, and I think our guys from that point on were really locked into what we needed to do. Special teams across the board. I thought our defense played tremendous all game long. They're a tough offense to face. They got a lot of different weapons, a lot of different matchup things that you got to take into account. They run the football well. They got in a lot of 12 personnel, and they got two big tight ends to do that in. But I thought our defense played extremely well. And then offensively, I was proud the way we moved the football, found ways to stay on the field. Obviously, still things we would like to do better, but very proud of all three phases tonight.
To not have any turnovers, how important was that?
It's huge. And you go back and you look at our games, when we control the football like that, take care of the football like that, good things usually happen for us.
After that, the face punt that you put away, what was your reaction to when you saw that ball go out the back of the end zone for holding the
I kind of missed the first part of it.
After the fake punt didn't
Yeah.
work, just what was it kind of like relief after Oldham sent the ball back over to you when it went out past the end zone?
Well, I mean, that's who our defense is. That's who our football team is. I mean, obviously put our defense in a bad spot there, and but to see them react and play the way they did, and then just that play in particular. I mean, what a huge play into the game. Changed momentum, changed everything about it, and that's what our defense has done all year long.
What happened with that big punt?
Just misjudgment.
Okay. You mentioned that play, but to have a big moment from Tyon, like that was so big in the game.
Mm-hmm.
What have you seen from him throughout the season? I know you were so high on him going into the season, and sometimes it's hard to live up to expectations.
Well, and I told him this. He's sitting over there. I told him this before the season that I was going to pump him because what he had done, spring ball wise, what he'd done in fall camp, and just saw him progress at such a tremendous rate. I mean, he's a guy that works extremely hard. He's really been diligent about his craft. He's a great leader, does things right on and off the field. And I didn't think there was a spotlight that was too bright for him. And now it's just seeing yourself in that light and then going and making plays. And that's what he's done all year. You can go back to, what was it, South Florida on a third or fourth down where, I mean, he punches a ball out, ends the drive right there. That was close to the end of the game. That kind of sealed it for us. And then we were able to finish it off with running the clock out. But, he's just done that throughout. And I'm just happy I get him back for a little while longer.
You mentioned how you guys have stood strong through adversity much of the year. Early on, as you say, after that kickoff return, the next two drives, you guys come down and score and kind of retake control, recon yourselves. That had to be a big moment.
Yeah, it was a big moment for us, but it didn't surprise me from what I've seen our team react to. I mean, we go to SMU on the road, who's a really good team. We go down 17 and come back and roll back and run and score 31 unanswered. And our defense is a huge part of that. And we ended up having to battle our way through the end of that game and find a way to win. we've been in a lot of tough ball games, not just this year, but throughout our tenure here. And our guys understand we get 60 minutes, we're going to play every second of it. We're going to believe in each other. And until that last tick comes off the clock, we're going to find a way to go make plays and win.
How do you
How
put,
cool of a moment do you think this was for a guy, Kenny Solomon, that's from the area? I know
Yeah.
he had that big play right before the pick, right before halftime, where he down the punt. So how cool of a moment do you think this was for him, being able to come home and experience this?
Yeah, it was fantastic. When we got the announcement that we were coming here, obviously he was excited. And, he's telling about, hey, these are good spots to go to, because it's hometown and none of us have been here. So it was a great experience, I think, for him. I mean, his family and others, they welcomed us as soon as we got to the hotel. I mean, they had their own little pep rally as we pulled up to the hotel. And so Kenny makes a big play right there and fields that punt. Kenny's got a good future ahead of him, and we're excited that he's part of our program and here with us.
You mentioned the future. What can this win streak do going forward for you guys?
Well, I mean, it will carry momentum for us as we start come January when we start our winter conditioning. It'll carry into spring ball. It's going to carry into recruiting. And then hopefully it's going to carry us into next year and get us off to a better start and be able to propel us because we've got big goals and big dreams ahead of us. We know we want to be in that picture all the time. So we want to win a conference championship. We've been there. We've seen it. Now we got to go back and get there and find a way to go win it and then get us a chance to get in another big bowl game like this and come out on top and victorious in that.
how do you put the season into perspective with the way it started and how it finished?
Well, going into the season, we knew we had a tough schedule in front of us. That being said, we played really well in a lot of those early games. We played well enough to win in a lot of those early games. We just didn't come out on top of it. And it's really tough to do, to keep going back and grinding and working on things, and everybody's questioning you and everybody's doubting what you're doing. But our players, they just continue to forge together, lock in, become even tighter than what they were. We pushed each other to be better each and every day, and guys just continue to work and grind. That's what life's going to be like. You translate it over. Not everything's going to be perfect. Nobody's going to give you anything. This team, maybe as much as anybody has since we've been here, earned this season and earned this championship.
With Shamari Brooks becoming the second leader rusher in program history, how proud of you are you of him? Like, watching his growth throughout the years you've been coaching him, what have you noticed in that kid?
He is one of the most competitive young men that I've ever been around. He plays with passion. He's relentless about what he does. He played for us as a true freshman. We talked about it the other day. His freshman year, we're playing SMU. He breaks his collarbone. Nobody knows it. Stays in 5 more or 6 more plays and scores a touchdown and then says, hey, my shoulder kind of hurts. Yeah, you broke your collarbone. Nobody knew about it, right? Last year, before we start the season, he tears his ACL. This is a guy that hasn't had like that type of major injury before. But he stayed locked in. He stayed driven. He went through his rehab, stayed really positive through that. And then to come back and have the year that he has had. Started the year off with his brace, gets 3 or 4 games into it, throws the brace away. I'm good, I'm ready to roll, and just continue to do that throughout the year. We had to lean on him, and he has always answered the call when we've asked him to do that. He's a man of few words, but his actions and the way he plays speaks volumes.
Coach, one question. You lose Gerard Wheeler early. Just Will Farnier comes in, hasn't snapped the ball at all this year.
Yeah.
And, it didn't look like your offense running game lost anything in that when he was in.
I think Will came in and did a tremendous job. Obviously, that's a big loss when we lose Gerard. Obviously, we didn't have Chris tonight as well. But those 5 guys up front, along with our tight ends, when you're talking about, Ethan and you're talking about Abe, those guys did a tremendous job versus a very, very stout run defense that we were facing tonight. But for Will to step up, again, hasn't snapped in a game, hasn't been put in those situations. For him to step up and play the way he did, just a ton of respect for him and what the future holds.
Any last questions? Thanks, Coach. Oh.
Your quarterback, what do you think of Davis, the corner?
You know, really, I thought Davis tonight, thought he really saw the field well. He was throwing really accurately, taking what the defense gave him. Did a good job of buying time, moving around in the pocket, finding guys that are open. Again, you got to take your hat off to those guys up front and those skill guys, those receivers running around. I thought JJ had a tremendous game. Edra had some big catches. JC had some big catches. You know, all of them did. They all contributed in some way. But Davis, you know, the ball's touching his hands every play. And tonight I thought he was really locked in and focused and made some big plays, not only with his arm, but, you know, diving for a first down there in the second half to extend a drive was huge. And then on the third and short, where we kind of call his number and tell him to go get it on a power play, and he picks up 5 or 6 on that one. That was another tremendous play to keep a drive alive and allow us to work that clock down the way we did.